This is a song written and sung by Steve Love called Riding on the Isle of Wight
Oh,
Rattler.
yeah.
Riding on the Isle of Wight Rattler. One day at Shanklin Station, I got the inclination to catch a train all the way to Ryde. So I bought myself a ticket and got the ticket man to click it, and I found myself a comfy seat inside. But as we got underway, the train began to sway, and I asked the guard, "Is there something here the matter?" He said, "There is no worry, if you're in no hurry, because you are on your way to ride on the Rattler. And you will be swaying from side to side, and you will be bouncing up and down. You'll be shaking all around on the Rattler. You will be swaying from side to side, and you will be bouncing up and down when you are riding into town on the Rattler." I said to the guard, "Mate, we are rocking pretty hard, and every time we move this carriage shakes." I said, "Have we got suspension?" And he said, "Not that I can mention, and I'm not even sure that we have got brakes." So I went to see the driver to check he was alive, and as I was worried how he might be feeling, well, his head was full of lumps from when he went over bumps that had bashed the poor man onto the carriage ceiling. And he was swaying from side to side, and he was bouncing up and down. He was shaking all around on the Rattler. He was swaying from side to side, and he was bouncing up and down when he was riding into town on the Rattler. From Shanklin down to Lake, that train began to shake, and I suspected some kind of malfunction. As we ran through Sandown, we were all dropping our sandwiches down, and I was getting scared by Smallbrook Junction. By the time to get to Ryde, I was so terrified that I was shaking too, but out of fear. Then a passenger I met said, "You haven't seen anything yet. Wait until we go along Ryde Pier, because you will be swaying from side to side, and you will be bouncing up and down. You will be shaking all around on the Rattler. You will be swaying from side to side, and you will be bouncing up and down when you are riding up Ryde Pier on the Rattler." There was a couple in a huddle, and they were trying to have a cuddle, but I could see their love affair was fading. Every time he tried to kiss her, the carriage jolted and he missed her, and she dumped him by the time we got to Brading. There was a lady in a pretty dress, and she was getting quite distressed, and nature had endowed her with all charms, but with every hump and halt, and every jerk and jump and jolt, she had to drop her bags and fold her arms, because they were swaying from side to side, and they were bouncing up and down. They were shaking all around on the Rattler. They were swaying from side to side, and they were bouncing up and down when we were riding into town on the Rattler. But lately I have heard, and I have picked up the word, there is a brand new train upon our shore. It is swift and smooth and silent, and it glides across the island, and we have not got our Rattler any more. Well, I know it will be better, but the Rattler, I miss it, as things will never be the same again. So it seems rather strange, but couldn't we arrange to get back our nice old Rattler train? Because I like swaying from side to side, and I like bouncing up and down. I like shaking all around on the Rattler. I like swaying from side to side, and I like bouncing up and down when I'm riding into town on that nice old shaking, rattling and shaking island rattling train. The Isle of Wight Rattler, riding on a train on the
He
Isle of
wrote a
Wight
good one
Rattler.
there, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, funnily enough, I know
Huh?
I know a retired Isle of Wight train driver who used to
Oh, yeah?
used to drive the Rattler. I definitely saw him in it on occasions, and he has had severe neck troubles over the years.
Oh,
Did he have bumps on his head from crashing into the ceiling at
I was
all?
going to say, has he got a
you
bad
wonder,
back?
don't you?
yeah, I have a question because we rode on that train between Shanklin and Ryde, and I
Yeah.
don't remember it rattling. So Rattler is the previous generation,
Probably.
and now it's a nice smooth train. Is that
That
it?
is correct.
Yeah, I think you must. Yeah.
The worst ones were the ones that stopped in the late 1980s, were replaced by later ones dating from 1939.
Been run by volunteers, perhaps have
No,
oil.
the ones we've got now date from the late 1980s, I think.
They can't hear me.
The new smooth
Oh,
one,
tube
that is.
train.
Oh, really?
Do you miss the Rattler as well then?
The new one, the current one's an old tube train, is it, from London?
Well, the current one's a Metropolitan line.
Yeah.
Well, they're also ex-London ones. They're all ex-London.
Oh, are they? Right.
The old ones were tubes. They were Bakerloo line.
Did you have a steam train to start with? No.
And the steam trains are still going.
Yeah.
You know, when they built the underground first, they actually used to run steam trains through them.
Actually, they had steam trains on the underground
Yeah.
right through to the end because they
Must
used to
be a
use them
bit
for
funny.
maintenance at night. They used to go when the current was off. They used to run steam trains through.
You know what the first underground train was?
Nah.
It was owned by the post office. They had it to run mail
yeah.
around in London, apparently.
It was automated, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. Even
Not
it
they had
got-
It was driverless.
It was a long time ago as well.
Well, 1920s or 1930s.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
I
think
remember
so.
reading about it.
Yeah, it was extraordinary.